Hear that? This is Sonic Youth,
Viva Cuba, long
a
live
rock
the
band
new
whose
wave.
music not only synthesizes New York sounds like new and no wave, but contemporary avant-garde composition, evoking the modal and free jazz of John Coltrane and Miles Davis and Ornette Coleman, which in itself deconstructed and reconstructed the improvisation of a Charlie Parker. The rock and roll tradition way back to the 50s noise of Link Wray and mythic personas like Johnny Cash, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry, though subverting many themes of the 60s, still as fuzzy though less eclectic than what Jimmy Page was doing with Yardbirds and Zeppelin. And just a bit downstream, prog rock bands like Soft Machine, which are named after William Burroughs' 1961 book, and Mike Rattledge's Impressionistic Organ, which could be compared to the Velvets and John Cale's more erratic, hypnotic organ playing. Though it's all derived from the garage rock scene, from those as obscure as the Sonics to those as omnipresent as the Beach Boys or Iggy Pop of Greenwich-founded Elektra Records. Also out of Kent, Cambridge's Henry Cow and the kind of rock and opposition movement, with Fred Firth's unorthodox, atmospheric, though imagistic, classical guitar playing. He'd come to the States and form his own little party band.
Go, man, go!
Lee keeps a Jasper Johns Target-designed amp, a fine art association to neo-Dada pop art. Consequently, the rather Deleuzian assemblage reflective combined ideal of Robert Rauschenberg's 50s works, the kind of unenthused frenzy of earlier Dadaists, you get the impression Lower East Side was always for the roving reporters and art critics.
New Wave. Yeah, we were just thinking about New Wave.
Yeah, Thurston's getting into the post-new wave drone rock right now. It's a perfect example of what was going on in New York circa 1979, 1980, after the new wave of like Talking Heads.
The goings-on were ripe with energetic, transgressive, mostly entertaining art.
Good morning. This is Isabel broadcasting from the new Phoenix.
Signatory of its time in the future.
And the Ramones.
Nothing to do now, where to go? I want a piece of city.
The new wave and no wave of New York consists of certain cinematic works as well, reflecting the socially nervous punk tendency of the former to the more secretive rage of the latter. You should watch this in her film Working Girls, which is a low-key drama about a sex worker in New York, her, the girls, and visitors over a day on the job.
The Voidoids.
Richard Hell is a key character, highly influential New Yorker and ex-member of Television with Tom Verlaine. On their process, he highlights the importance of prose, how Verlaine wrote music to his words. He would eventually focus on literature, though his time with the band as CBGB staples beside Patti Smith and Blondie are fondly recalled. He also played with Johnny Thunders, who could then be considered a kind of sleazy Springsteen in The Heartbreakers. This was after the dissolution of the New York Dolls. Johnny thought on his music, would say he never played punk, just good old rock and roll. Which brings up a good point about these sorts of designations, the character and intensities of genre. Suppose he means to say his Rolling Stones Who-esque intentions were too mainstream to be aligned with counterculture and immorality and abstract.
I got the bleaching blinds coming up doing. Hey girls. Hey, who the fuck was rude to these bitches before?
We went through the no wave where everything was kind of dissonant. You had Teenage Jesus and the Jerk.
Lydia Lunch co-starred with Longleg in quite a few films, most of which by Richard Kern, quite experiential works with sexploitation themes.
I can only put mommy on, Joey, after you've given me the
credit card number and the expiration date.
Well, just let me off.
In Fingered, a deranged man becomes possessive of her, mostly a road movie playing with ideas of trust and delusion.
Oh, you're just a simple man with simple desires.
You're gonna find out, alright?
Submit to Me is a more abstract work of extreme voyeur. The interactions you're subjected to will surely be defined by your tastes. For me, this kind of frenzy, darkness, horrific exposure unveils tension and bondage, a kind of defense from being seen. Longleg especially gives an irreplaceably feminine, just rabid performance. Beastly, soulless synchronicity. Let's play Spot the Drone. I picked a few tracks from Sonic Youth's catalog, and the compilations No New York and Just Another Asshole number 5.
DNA and
Lindsay is jagged, Mora is tribal.
the contortions.
Led by the soulful James Chance.
And then we got into this kind of new wave drone rock that also influenced us. We had Reese Chatham.
Mock music.
We had Glenn Branca. And
You got me. You got me. You got me.
Preceding the grand 100 guitar arrangements, an ascension indeed.
we must have had some others, but I'm not really sure who they were right now. But everyone, it seemed like everyone below 14th Street had a guitar.
There were a few big clubs. CBG, Beyond Bowery, Mud Club, Max's, Kansas City, which is like so strange because it's in fucking what is that, Greenwich area, the Lofts, Peppermint Lounge.
One note and a heavy pick, and was really just digging in and going at it, just kind of like he's doing right now.
And we didn't really own any equipment. We borrowed a couple of guitars from a friend of ours, and they were really crummy guitars, and the only way they sounded good is if we sort of like jammed screwdrivers under the neck. And
that kind of single functionality, sculptural approach of reductive subjection, it just touches a certain naturalism, absolutely counter to artful fingerpicking. Their alternate tunings, etc., the ephemeral theme, I think, is illuminated, and for that, Sonic Youth is just so punk.
That was one of the reasons why we evolved into having so many guitars, because some guitars that we had early on were only useful for one kind of a thing. You'd string it up a certain way and you'd get like one good thing to come out of it. And so we'd write a song around that guitar, and then for the next song we'd pick up a different guitar and like sort of figure out what it was good for and make a song out of it.
so, have we made any money lately that to speak of?
Oh, not much.
What's going on?
Okay, no one is more surprised to be here than me. Direct from New York City, Richard Kern and Black Snakes, the kings of cough syrup. Let's start rocking!